Okay.
Empty. G'day, this is the BUSHMEISTER BA-X12. It's a lever release shotgun, so that means it works on the principle that I push this lever, once it's ejected a shell, it will load the next shell. Basically the story with this is, a month ago I bought a pointer shotgun. I've had some trouble with that, that's still at the gunsmith right now. This belongs to a friend of mine, and he bought this gun, and basically he's got like 200 children and he doesn't have time to shoot it, so he's lent it to me. He said I can do a review and try it out. I took it out geese shooting last night. We didn't get any geese, but I did shoot some old trees, and yeah, I can give you my first impressions on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Basically,
Rambo,
this is the 20-inch version, and it's called the Marine version. So it's got, I think it's a Cerakote. It feels like Cerakote, but it might be another paint. And in real life, this looks something like stainless steel or a little bit like gal paint. So it's not a bad paint job. And yeah, so I'll start at the rear and I'll work my way up. Basically, the butt pad here looks like it's made out of an old thong. It's hard as anything, and it's got a little bit of plastic before the wood. The fitting on that is average. The wood itself looks fine. In fact, it's nice wood. You'd be happy to have it on just about any gun. The checkering on the grip is not aggressive, but it's got a little bit there. All the controls are chrome. This is Cerakoted, but the bolt knob, the trigger, the safety, and the safety works are all chrome. The trigger itself is, if you're pulling backwards, if you sit further back and you just use the very tip of your finger, you'll be sitting about 4 pounds. If you're riding higher and pulling slightly upwards, you'll be sitting about 3.5 pounds. And it's got a tiny bit of creep, but it's soft. It's a nice trigger. There's nothing wrong with it. The lever mechanism itself, I've stripped the gun down. All the internal parts, the bolt itself's fully chromed. It looks decent. It looks actually fine. The bolt knob itself is less aggressive than the pointer, and the gun to pull apart simple. Like, I'll show you a quick video of how simple it is. It's dead simple to pull apart. All the internals on this look fine. It came from the factory greased and ready to go. It had oil in the right places, and I'm pretty impressed with how it came out of the box actually. Moving up, the top of the gun here has 4 screws or grub screws ready to remove and put a weaver rail, and you can buy a weaver rail from the supplier. The feeding mechanism, the elevator mechanism, is the same as the pointer. The difference is this one doesn't retract before the shell's in place. This elevator, which I'll try to show you a little clip of, stays up the entire time the bolt's going forward, and so that makes it a lot less likely to jam. And I was shooting number 3s, like a low load last night, and I had one little hang up, but I bumped it and it ran the rest of the shells through. So it seems to be a little bit less fussy on ammo. I'm going to shoot another 20 or 30 rounds before I make that call, but from what I've heard, this is less fussy on ammo. The front of it, you've got a rib on top of the barrel here, 20-inch barrel. This only comes with one barrel. There is a model in the magazines that show, there's one that comes with the 2 barrels, and there's others that come with fixed sights or adjustable sights. That'd be great too, but this one, my friend just opted for the 20-inch version, and it's the 3-inch chambers too. Up the front here, there is no mechanism up the front here. In fact, if you remove this stock and look under here, there's just a magazine tube, and to extend this magazine tube would be really hard, the way they've swelled it onto this barrel. Though I have heard there's a later version that's changed that barrel design or the way it interacts with the bottom lug. So all the mechanism here is purely blowback. So as you fire it, the bolt twists and unlocks and comes back, but the spring mechanism is built into this stock, and that's what puts the bolt back in place, and there's a rod on the back of the bolt to do that. That gives it a slightly sharper recoil impulse, but I have to say that this here is a 20-inch barrel. Compared to other guns, it's always going to have a slightly sharper recoil impulse and be slightly louder. The front of it, you've got a fibre optic sight, which looks fine. The good thing about fibre optic sights, if you don't love red or if you're colourblind, you can change it out for other colours. You can go white, green, and just get on eBay. You can buy about 10 inches for $30 or something, and that'll last you a lifetime. You just melt it on with a little bit of the back end of a firelighter. The lugs themselves, they feel good quality. They're solid and they're actually really wide. The one on the back of the stock here, that's fixed in place well. I've tried to move it, it's solid as. So my initial impressions of the gun is it's quite good. If you're looking for a gun to use in the scrub, I'll give you some more run testing, but yeah, so far so good. The chokes themselves, comes with 5 chokes, not just 3, and I've just been running modified because I run steel and I shoot waterfowl. G'day. I'll just give you a rundown of what I found with this gun. I've been out shooting with it 3 or 4 times now. I've lent it to friends who've had a shot of it. So I'll just give you a rundown of what I've found. Basically, I'm at probably the 70 to 80 shot mark with this. After about 40 odd shots, I removed the modified choke and it had egged itself out, just like the pointer had. So these chokes, even though they're meant to be steel proofed, they're not steel-proof chokes. I now have the cylinder choke in it, and if you're going to buy one of these, consider that in your buying costs, that you're going to have to replace the chokes with True Lock chokes or another brand that are steel-proof chokes. And yeah, you wouldn't rely on this unless you're shooting lead. If you're shooting lead, you'll be fine. Now I've shot number 3s. I'm sorry, my collar's all up. I've shot number 3s. I've shot BBs. I've shot 3 inches, 2 3/4 inches. This thing hasn't played up. It's been excellent. In fact, it shoots so quickly that you find yourself chasing birds, and you do get them, but sometimes you don't. You waste 3 shots, but it is quick to shoot. It's intuitive to shoot. I've handed it to other people, given them a quick rundown on it, and basically they picked it up straight away. Everyone I've given it to loved it. They've said it'd be great for pigs with a red dot, and I agree it would be. Now, one thing was I lent it to a left-handed shooter, and I would have thought that would be the best thing because he could action it like that. One thing he found is, and you only see it at night time, when this is ejecting, because it's pure inertia, there's a massive amount of flames that come out of, oh not massive, sorry, there are flames that come out of here. So I noticed it when I was looking across the field at my friend shooting ducks, and yeah, so a left-handed shooter, you might cop a little bit of flame in the face. Now, I saw the other models that were available. A gentleman at the gun club had the Cerakoted Dark Earth one with the compensator on it, and he also had the long barrel traditional one, like black with a 28-inch barrel. They both looked really good. Nothing wrong with them. I think I'd pick the 28-inch barrel traditional looking one, but the Cerakote one looked really, really cool. One thing I've noticed, I've just had this in the back of the car in gun bags, walking around the field with it. You do get a little bit of marking on the silver, but it's a very bright gun, so you'd expect some marking there. And other than that, it's been excellent. I've had no faults, no complaints. If you're looking to get one, have a look at the different models available. There should be one coming out that you get the both barrels with soon. And I think it's a good buy. I think at $1,000, or let's just say $1,100 once you buy another choke, I think it's a buy. I certainly wish I would have bought one, but my friend who owns it is going to be very happy.